Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Refined Savage podcast. Here we go. Let's do a little business. Viking coffee. Evan Armstrong's Viking coffee. That didn't start off really well, but Evan Armstrong's Viking coffee out of Bowling Green, Ohio. The best coffee in the world. If you are currently drinking store-bought coffee or going to like one of these Dunkin' Donut places, you gotta put that stuff down and check out Viking coffee. Evan's brews are the best around. My personal favorite, of course, is Old Man Strength. Give him a holler at vikingcoffeeco.com. Use the code VikingCoffee10 at checkout. Cerberus, if you could have gone to the Arnold this past weekend, you would have seen Cerberus athletes all over the place. Cerberus is neck deep in the strongman community, in the Highland Games community, in the powerlifting world. They have all the best stuff. Anything you could possibly need for those sports and more. Tacky, smelling salts, sleeves and wraps, t-shirts, belts. Their belts are awesome. Check these guys out. Cerberus-strength.us. Use the code RefineSavage10 at checkout. Warrior CBD. Warrior CBD is a company created by jiu-jitsu practitioners, judo and jiu-jitsu and MMA fighters. These guys know what it means to get beat up, obviously. They've got bumps and bruises and aches and pains. And Nancy at Warrior CBD has come up with a blend that is sure to help you guys out. If you have bumps, bruises, aches, pains, check out Warrior CBD. If you have anxiety, if you have problems falling asleep, if you have a crazy whacked out dog, Warrior CBD is the answer. Not all CBD oil is created equal. I promise you, you will be impressed with Warrior CBD. Check them out at warriorcbdofficial.com. Use the code WARRIOR20 off at checkout. Serious Steel, if you are trying to outfit a home gym, a commercial gym, a CrossFit gym, a garage gym, whatever kind of gym you need, Serious Steel is the answer. Don't go to these big, giant international companies. Check out Serious Steel. Good people, great company, great prices. SeriousSteel.com. Use the code SAVAGE at checkout. Impact Mouthguards. Impact Mouthguards. If you are in a contact sport of any kind, you know about CTEs, you know about traumatic brain injury, you know about getting your teeth whacked around. You want to make sure you keep those choppers healthy. You want to make sure you keep your brain pan healthy. If you're one of these people who grind their teeth at night, or if you're just somebody who wants to put more weight on the bar, check out Impact Mouthguards. ImpactMouthguards.com. Use the code REFINESAVAGE, capital Refine, capital Savage, at checkout for 15% off. And finally today, the Beard Struggle. If you have one of these mountain man giant beards, you need to take care of that thing. Make sure it smells good. Make sure it looks good. These guys have everything you need, from combs to beard balms to beard oils to straighteners, everything you need. And also check out their Instagram page. It is hysterical. TheBeardStruggle.com. Use the code REFINESAVAGE at checkout for 15% off. Today on the show, returning guest, Ryan Jasinsky, former member of SEAL Team 10, good buddy of mine. We had a great time sitting down and talking and just chatting about life in general and all cool things. So give this one a listen, share it with your friends, and we'll see you at the end. All right. So we were just getting ready to get started here, and you saw my Cuban coffee sticker on the wall, and you said that that's where you took all your dive trips when you were in, and it's a black hole.
Great, yeah. Great plot, great place. Cuban Coffee Queen, love it. Awesome, but yeah, Key West is a black hole for me. I love the place. It's an awesome time.
Yeah.
It's a great dynamic, I guess you could say, because we stay off, there's like that Navy base.
Yep.
Right off the strip, right between you come into, it's like it halves the town. I don't remember the name of it. So there's the Navy base there. We do all of our dives off of that little pier. They'll like boat us out to somewhere and we'll do a dive, and we do all our dives. And for the first couple weeks, it's all like daytime dives. So you have the day going on, and then you have the rest of the night to figure out what you want to do.
Leash you on Duval Street like animals.
Exactly, and then you're at the Navy Gateway, so it's not like you're hanging out in your room because it's a nice room all day or anything.
Right.
So you go out into the town.
Yeah.
And then whatever you can stir up in Key West.
It's not hard to stir up anything.
No.
It's every place is jumping.
I don't think I've ever come to it. Like, we've been there in the winter. You've been there. I mean, there's not a time or a place, I don't think, where it's not busy. And like middle of the week, it's busy.
Yeah.
Cruise ship comes in. You hear it during the dive. Next thing you know, it's like million people down on Duval Street.
Yeah, and then what they do is they round them all up and they have them out of there by 5 o'clock so it doesn't fuck up the sunset celebration. Yep. So it's like constant stream of bodies going through there. What were some of your favorite hangouts down there? Do you remember them?
Irish bar.
Kevin's.
Okay.
Irish Kevin's.
Yep,
Next
Irish
to
Kevin's
Sloppy Joe's.
was awesome. We did that one across from Irish Kevin's. I don't remember what it was.
Rick's.
Like the double decker.
Yep, Rick's. Yep.
And then
there's a strip club right there.
Yep. There's like 3 strip clubs there, isn't there? Or 2?
When I originally started going down there, I only saw the one on Duval. Now there's like 3 on Duval Street.
Oh, yeah. See, I haven't been down there in a couple of years now. And then Rick's, and then there's that pizza joint down below that. I mean, constantly, you just walk back.
That place has got to be a fucking gold mine because people are just wandering up the street looking for food.
It's genius. And then I don't think I ever took a cab either. Walk back trying to catch chickens, or it's like it's like open market for bikes. Like if a bike, there'll be a bike just sitting on the side of the road, like all trashed up, and you're like, I'm trying to ride this thing back into the base.
Yeah, it's
I almost got kicked out of the Gateway. The last trip we were on because I wouldn't ride with a helmet. So they had a sting operation that got like me and 4 people. The Navy MA was sitting in a bush, and he's like, "Hey, stop!" Like as we come out of the base, none of us had helmets on because we would have bikes, so we'd ride bikes down to the pier to do our dives, ride them back to the Gateway for like lunch or whatever, ride them out. And so this guy was so mad at giving us warnings. He set up one night and like tried, and it looked like an episode of Live PD. Like you just see team guys scattering, running through the.
They're running from the guy looking for to give you a ticket for a helmet. Yeah. That's fucking hysterical. Can you imagine having to be that guy where that's your job is to give guys tickets for helmets?
I couldn't. I'd be like, please for your helmet. Okay, you didn't.
Never mind. See you later. You're good.
I could not. He was. Like we're riding up and you just hear like out of the bush like, hey, stop! Like, what is going on? And we see this guy like, pop up like.
I love the guys were running.
Oh yeah, we're like, and he's on foot. I mean, he's a bigger guy. There's no way he's chasing me down on foot, let alone with me on a bike.
Yeah, I went down there for the first time in. God, I want to say it was like 2007 for a wedding, and we landed there. It was in like January. My buddy Ryan was getting married, and we flew down there, and we landed on the night that they broke the record for cold snaps in Key West, and it was in the 30s.
So you're like, what did I do?
People had no idea how to handle it. I had no winter clothes at all because I was like, fuck this. We're going to Key West. I'm psyched. We land there, I'm in like a t-shirt and jeans, and I was just like freezing. And the lady who's running our B&B, no heat, so she's like, well, if it gets too cold, I guess you could there's a heater on in the bathroom, and the fan, you could turn that on. I'm like, oh, fuck, so we're all wrapped up.
No way.
Next day, though, it had bounced up like into the 60s and then into the 70s, so it was like, holy shit. But yeah, we broke the record for cold snaps, and I've been going down ever since. We probably, I don't know how many, we got engaged down there. We've been down, I went down there by myself in August, my wife was on a girls' trip, and I just said, fuck it, I'm going out to Key West for a few days.
Yeah.
And
how's the flight down there? Do they have the direct flight from
there? It's usually a little bit more expensive.
Okay.
It's not direct, no. I think you get off in Miami, and then you take a puddle jumper over there. I think that's how I did it.
Okay.
So, but it wasn't too bad. But the best thing about it is you fly in, and there's one terminal. You get out on the tarmac. You walk into the terminal. Your baggage claim. There's only one baggage carousel.
Yep.
That's there. There's a bar right next to it.
Oh yeah, they set you up for success immediately.
Exactly. Yeah. So you can just.
You don't even need a bag. You need like 2 swimsuits.
Yep.
Thrown into your backpack, and that's about the extent.
Bunch of t-shirts, and you're good to go. Because I can't imagine dressing up, going somewhere nice down there. I mean, there's not that many.
I guess you could try to.
I don't know what the reasons would be.
I don't know. You could give it a whirl.
Yeah. I mean, jeans is about as good as I get down there, but Yeah, it's I love that place, man. We're gonna have to head down there together one of these times.
I'm down. It's a good.
We got to get the wives
trip.
together,
Yep.
number one, because we could be meatheads and they could do their
Yeah,
medical shit together
exactly.
and be intellectuals and all that stuff. And
I've never run into anyone else that's like, I guess it's like the perfect spot though. Like there's.
oh yeah, I got the flag out here, the
you can do
Conquer
everything.
Republic flag,
Yeah.
and
You can.
I got the
spot.
latitude and longitude for Duval Street on my arm, and I'm out of control.
That's funny.
Yeah, I love that place. But we were just on vacation. We did the Bahamas, Grand Turk, Dominican Republic, and then Key West, and
Dang, that's a vacation.
it was nice.
That's
Just cruise through all there, and
I've never been to the Bahamas. Never been Turk. Never been. I don't think I've been anywhere. I've never been on anywhere cool on vacations. I don't think.
Did you get to dive on anything cool when you were in Key West, or was it just regular
Coast Guard ships? So we did a lot of like Coast Guard ships that were out there.
Right. What do you mean? What, like that they sunk or?
No, we would always do so like. How do I explain it? I guess you do dives to the ship and then you hook and climb from the ship.
Okay.
Like from the water and then onto the ship. So we would do those Coast Guard base there.
Yeah.
They would have Coast Guard ships that were in port and they would leave all the suction on. They would leave everything on, just like it would be sitting somewhere. And so we would practice the dive, which Key West is horrendous sometimes for like the ebb and flow of currents.
Yeah.
So like if you get stuck in the channel, like during a bad current time, like you're just gonna hang out in the channel.
Just be floating around for a long time. It's super sharky too, isn't it?
Oh yeah, we saw sharks the one time. We saw what are the tarpon? Tarpon scared the absolute shit out of me on one dive because we're just diving. Next thing I know, I just see this huge silver thing like swim in front of me, and I'm like, what was that?
They're a good 6-7 feet long, so they're huge.
I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
This is terrifying. So then you're like, me and my dive partner are swimming with like our dive knives doing the dive, like, come on back, buddy. That's the only thing I got for you. I'll give it to you.
Yeah. One of the things I want to dive down there is is the Atocha, the boat Mel Fisher found down there. $500 million in Spanish silver he pulled out of that boat. It was
no way.
Yeah, it's a huge deal. It was a Spanish galleon that sank in the 1500s in a hurricane. There was 2 galleons, and he found the first one, and then ended up finding the second one, I think in 83 or 85, and it was 500 million in Spanish silver. So he went through all this shit, and they're still pulling stuff off the bottom of the, they said.
Where was it at? Is it like right off the
between
coast?
the Marquesas and Key West, in a place called the Quicksand. So it's like 30 feet of water, and they couldn't find it for hundreds of years. And this guy spent like 20 years
looking for it.
This
so
ship.
it wasn't like he accidentally was searching for this.
He was living in California. He was one of the first guys in the country to have a scuba shop, and his wife set the world record for being underwater for like these old grainy black and white videos of her sitting on the bottom of the ocean with a tube in her mouth and just sitting down there. I don't know how long she stayed, but they moved to Key West and started looking at all these old charts, and then he was hiring guys to like go through old Spanish documents of what was on the ship and everything.
Right.
And he ended up became a family business for him, and he lost a son and a daughter-in-law in a boat. The boat capsized in the middle of the night. Something happened with the pump, and it ended up they were sleeping out there.
His family like died on this.
2 of them, and then but he had like 3 or 4 sons, and they ended up finding it. But it was like years and years, and he was going broke. And when they finally found it, he had gone every day to Captain Tony's on Duval Street, in Duval and Green, and he'd have drinks with the owner, Captain Tony. And so he's sitting there at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon drinking a rum and Coke, and they knew that this is what he does every day. Well, they find the treasure, and they call Captain Tony's bar. They say, hey, is Mel there? And Captain Tony held up the phone, and Mel was like, fuck it, no, I don't want I'm not interested in talking to anybody right now. So he hung up the phone on him, called a couple minutes later. No, I don't want to talk to you about it. Hung up the phone. Finally, they had to send the cops down there. The cops came to these. They found it. Get your ass to the docks. And I
No
was
way.
like, you got to be kidding me. So they rushed him to the docks. He gets on a boat. They head out there. And by the time they get out there, they're already pulling silver bars. These big, giant, like huge loaves of look like French bread. They're pulling off the bottom that big of silver, and they're stacking them on the deck in these like pyramids. And he's barely on the boat when Jimmy Buffett pulls up in another boat because he had heard the news. And
That's
so
insane.
they pull him up on the boat. So there's this incredible picture of Buffett. I'm gonna try to pull it up here. Buffett playing A Pirate Looks at 40 while sitting on these silver bars on Mel Fisher's boat.
What a find.
Yeah, 500
So
million.
so a fisherman found it? It was just like, oh, here you go.
No, his son found it. His
Okay.
son was out there. So you see those are silver bars.
Wow.
So he just pulls up, gets up there, starts, and then he would walk around town. So I actually have a picture of me wearing this gold chain because I went and did an interview with his grandson. But this motherfucker would stroll around Key West. He always had the gold. He was always wearing the gold and shit. He would stroll around Key West with a gold bar, like a thin gold bar, in his shirt pocket, and they would give him rum and cokes, and he would stir it with the gold bar, because he was trying to get investors to come and buy in, and he's still taking investors. They're still finding these big giant green emeralds out there and shit. And
damn.
Yeah, the hurricane
Can you just
broke
dive?
it up.
Can you just dive on it if you want?
I don't think so. I think they kind of
like somehow
have rights to that. He had to fight not only the U.S. government, the state of Florida, but Spain came back and said that's ours.
No way.
Yeah.
That's ours. Hey,
yeah.
Please give us that.
Even though you did all the work.
Come on now.
Yeah, but there's a museum down there you can check out. If you ever go down there and want to check it out, let me know. I'll get you in touch with Melvin. He'll probably get you a tour, and really nice people down there. And yeah, it's cool though.
Yeah, that's sweet.
So
I gotta make a trip down there again.
Let me know. We'll go down together. I'll go down with you. Congratulations are in order. So new baby in the house.
I do. Yes. Thank you.
How is that going?
Actually, not bad. Both of our children now have been like trap babies, I guess you could say. They sleep through the night. Like both of our girls have slept through the night. Been super, like, laid back, just hanging out.
Yeah.
Just kind of do their thing. Like they both had their like witching hours, like usually like around like 5 to like 7 or 8. Like that's like their fussy hours.
Yeah.
Like, fussy is like them kind of piking up every once in a while and being fussy. But
like 5 in the morning?
No, like 5 at night.
Yeah.
So like just kind of when like the boys are going to sleep and they're just kind of like that's just like that weird time frame. Both of them been like that.
Mention that trap baby. You always get that. You know, oh, this baby was so great.
And this is my last one. So like every time she's like, are you sure? Are you sure this is your last one? We could have another one. I'm like, no, we're gonna be driving around one of those vans with the AC units on top because we don't have any more room in the Suburban. I'm not driving one of those Econo vans with the AC thing on top. Not happening.
When we first got married, Aaron was 36 at the time. I had already had a kid, and I kind of left it up to her. If you want to have kids, we'll have kids. If not, I'm good with just the kid I have.
Yeah.
And she was getting a lot of pressure from her family and from her friends. Everybody wants you to be as miserable as they are. And so, we sat down and talked about it. And I said, look, if it happens, it happens. There's not much we can do about it. We're not going to go and get, looked at and checked out. And if there's some, if it happens, it happens. So we were just doing our thing and nothing was really happening. And the best story, her brother, who's like one of my best friends in the world, we're sitting at New Year's Eve, all fancy, and he's been busting her balls a little bit about having kids because he's got 2 kids and he's like super dad, like Clark Griswold's super dad. So he's busting her balls a little bit, and he's asking us, what are you doing? You guys having kids? What, And she's like, yeah. And he said, well, what's going on? And she goes, well, we're trying. And he says, well, what are you doing to try? And I said, I fuck your sister every chance I get. That was the last thing he ever fucking said about it.
He's like, all right.
That was it. I'm good.
Good to know. I'll see you guys at dinner.
But we came to the conclusion that,
So
one
funny.
kid's enough, and we'd rather, she kind of had an epiphany, and I never really pushed her, but she kind of had an epiphany that she'd rather just travel and
Yeah.
do her thing and not have to, because we couldn't figure out, I'm running the gym, she's a bigwig at the VA, how are we going to raise another baby?
Right.
And,
that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the hardest. That's got to be the hardest.
what do you guys do? You got 2 in school, right?
Yeah, 2 in school. 1 who just turned 2, so she won't be in school probably for another 2 years, I would imagine. We're trying to get her to start early, like start preschool early. She's intelligent. She got that from my wife, not myself.
Right. Yeah, I know how that is. Yeah.
So that's kind of that game plan, and then the newest one's just here. It's cool. We've got it knocked out. Like, we both just turned 30 this year, so we're done at 30 years old.
That's super important.
They'll be out of the house. All of them will be out of the house by, when I'm 48, 50.
Perfect.
And that's when I want to, like you guys were saying, like, go ahead and start traveling around, doing some stuff.
Yeah.
Because you can't travel. You can't travel with 4 kids.
It's a nightmare.
Economically insanity. It's just.
Sounds like they're going to give you a discount
No,
for a kid who's 7.
You might as well just buy the plane at that point. American Airlines or something.
Right.
Boeing 737. They have that.
Yeah, you almost need to. We've got a bunch of people. My buddy Isaac in here has 1, 2. He's got 4 kids, and my buddy Diz, she has 5 kids, and it's like, and both of them are just, they're so high energy people, and
Right.
I don't think people understand the amount of work that goes into having that many.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
you've got 4, right?
Yep.
That's a.
It's an effort. You have to have, so like my wife and I, we have a very not set, but we have a good routine in how we do things and how, I can trust her to go and knock everything out or get them ready for bed. And while she's getting them ready for bed, I'm sitting there making sure everything's cleaned up for tomorrow,
Right,
doing the
right.
lunches downstairs and getting the lunch boxes ready and everything. So it's nice in that sense. But
Yeah.
if you don't have that and you don't have like that partnership and it's just one person doing it all,
Yeah.
or like the mom stays at home and so she just you get home from work, so you're like, please do it because I'm tired, and she has to do it all. There's no way. You create animosity immediately.
That's a lot of so we have a friend who's like that, who the wife works full time,
Yep.
severe hours. He doesn't have that stressful of a job, but they've got like 4 kids between them,
Right.
and he just expects her to do everything. He comes home, crashes out, she's just worked 12 hours, and he's gonna get murdered. He's fucked.
And his
He's
sleep.
in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, it's not an easy task by any means. It's very rewarding. I think that's, you asked me my biggest accomplishments in life, it would be, Buds and my career as a SEAL, and then the family that I've raised and I've established, I guess. So it's terrifying at the same time because you want them to grow up and be awesome people and do good in the world and everything along those lines, but there's so many gates that go up to that to hopefully, like, it's like my mom was always saying, like, you terrified me all the time, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, like that makes sense now, like, as being a father, as you would know, and you have kids getting older, and once they start to get older, and like you know the evil in the world from like your what you've done. I know it from what I've done and what I'm planning to continue doing. So it's one of those things you're like, please just stay away from bad people, stay away from doing this. Or having 2 girls, like I'm half tempted. I'm like, there's got to be technology out there where you can put like GPS trackers in them or something.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But Diz, my friend Diz, who has the 5 kids, has GPS on her kids' phones.
Yep. So I'm like, well, if they take your phone, what happens then? Like, I'm half tempted to like start putting it in like their clothes.
Low jack them.
Yeah. Like something. It's nuts.
I'm surprised if that isn't out. I'm sure it will be soon. It's
You gotta
crazy.
invent it. Make that million.
Some billions of bucks, man.
You bet.
Scared fathers. Just
I mean-
don't be that guy. The thing that drives me nuts is the fake tough guys on Instagram who, you know, they're posing with their guns and their shirtless T-shirts and they're like, you know, just waiting for my daughter's new boyfriend to come to the house. Dude, nobody's fucking scared of you.
No one is scared of you. Like the best scene I've seen of like that type of scenario, it's like I think it's Den of Thieves, like Curtis Jackson, 50 Cent.
Yeah.
And they're like ex-recon Marines that turned bad and like now they rob everything.
Right.
And there's like a scene where the girls in high school and the boyfriend maybe or someone, whoever, the date is taking her to prom. And so he like brings them into the garage, and like there's, you know, the recon flags.
Right.
Like, I mean, I have them like that. You come
Yeah,
down
right,
to the basement, you're like, what's going
they're
on?
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right? You gotta have those.
Like, what's going on down here? And he's like, you know, he gives them the talk, and it's like super calm, but it's like, hey, you know, you do anything messed up, like be assured, like this concrete and this jackhammer gets pulled up, and then I relay the concrete after I put you underneath my garage, and I work out on top of you.
Yeah, I just remember being in high school and being a jacked young 16-year-old kid and going to meet girls' dads, and these guys would pull that shit on me, and you have to be respectful, but you think to yourself, look, old man, I will throttle the fuck out of you and fuck your daughter. I do not care.
Yep, I just said the same thing. And you know, I think that's like my driving force to never get into dad bod or look like that part. Like, I always want to look the part. Like, if I tell you that, like, you're like, yeah, he's probably. Well, I'm 18 and I'm, you know, a high school football player. I'm going, but your dad would probably still throttle me.
Right. The other thing is for another reason is, number one, you're going to be a cop, and you're going to get in so much less problems if you look scary.
Right. If you look the part, it's.
And then if you want to get in the fitness industry too, you got to look at it or you won't get any clients.
Yep.
You know.
Absolutely. And that's like the thing with we were talking about it in the police academy the other day, like something about like looking the part or something along those lines. And I remember guys back like in Iraq or like right in Afghanistan started, team guys coming back and our older guys talking about how, you know, they like the same National Guard unit would patrol that street, daytime patrol, and they would get hit 6 times, and then they'd walk out and do it, and they're like, yep, nope, you're good, just keep walking, sir, like, no big deal. It's to where, like, I don't remember when it was, this is definitely, like, third-hand knowledge, but there would be team guys who started wearing, like, Army uniforms or Marine uniforms, and
trying to
blend in and draw them out to get into the fight, and it worked, like, all the time. And then they would start to catch on, like, oh, they're just using the same color uniforms, like, but you can still tell that that's them with their kit and their helmet and everything else.
Did you do any like work on the streets in Iraq, or were you mostly just?
No.
My question is, I heard the other day that there was a big debate amongst the community about having to do day raids because of. You know, you lose the advantage.
Yeah, so like I think I want to say maybe it was Iraq or something like it. Again, I wasn't there, so I don't know.
It was about Ramadi, but Jocko took a lot of heat for that.
And they've been changing it back and forth. Like I think the Obama regime even changed it for a little bit to where like they didn't want anyone going out at night. So like all nighttime operations were like to cease and desist.
What was the reasoning behind that?
To be honest, I think it's. I don't know. They thought maybe less casualties happened, you know, at night or during the day, or, you know, presence patrols weren't needed at night because you scared the populace. Something along those lines, I would imagine. I don't know exactly. I think it's absolutely insanity.
You have the advantage. Yeah. Why not use the advantage?
We have the $1 million advantage of night vision and laser. Like that's all you need to do. Like doing it during the day is like, yeah, it's nice because. I guess you're not on nods, and maybe I don't know, but like we all came to. I mean, I was able to function just as well underneath nods in the middle of the night, in the middle of the dark.
You gotta get used to it, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And like my buddy he played hockey and he left hockey just recently, so he kind of waited it out rather than how I did. I got it out of it quicker, but he just went and he joined the Army and went to Rangers RASP school, went to Ranger school, and now he's at a Ranger battalion. And he calls me every couple weeks, like, let me know, and it's hilarious because I guess since he's a scrolled Ranger, right? So he has a Ranger scroll.
Right.
And he doesn't have a Ranger tab. He hasn't gone to the Ranger qualification course, and he's like, I didn't, like, why do I need to go to this dumbass course? Like, they starved me for a couple months. Like, this is stupid. And I guess he gets just, like, the text there, or, like, other people, like, normal Army, not even Ranger battalion guys will, like the normal Army guys will just give him such a hard time because he doesn't have a Ranger tab. He only has a scroll, and it's like, wow.
We had Ryan Walters in here a couple weeks ago, and he was a Night Stalker, and but he got his Ranger tab before he became a Night Stalker. Pretty impressive fucking dude, man. Really smart. It was a good podcast. I think that actually comes out this week. But
is he from around here?
Yeah, he's from east side of Cleveland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is he? I don't know. Do you remember what battalion he was in? Only reason I asked is my uncle was a Night Stalker pilot for the.
Well, it's the 160th.
Yeah.
Is that?
Well, they would have like the 1/160th, 2/160th,
okay.
3/160th, and they're just out of different. There's one out of Kentucky.
That's when he was in.
Okay. Yep. There's one out of like Campbell, Kentucky. There's one out of Washington, and I think maybe one out of like somewhere else.
It was Kentucky, yeah.
Okay.
It was interesting because he works for the VA now, and he was talking. He was given a lecture to Erin and a bunch of the nurse managers, and she's like, "Oh, this guy's really impressive. He's giving this talk on our training, and he was in the military, and yada yada yada." And I said, "Well, what did he do?" And she said, "Well, he was a helicopter pilot." And just something clicked, and I said, "What was the unit number, there?" And he wasn't saying it out loud, so she went up and talked to him afterwards, and he gave me the number, and I said, "I think those are Night Stalkers." So I typed it in, and it popped up, and I said, "Get him on my podcast."
Yeah, so there's no one like them in the world that can fly a helicopter like that. A Chinook or a Little Bird or a Black Hawk, it's insanity. I remember we were hitting like a ship. It was training. We were out off of Little Creek, and we had 160th working with us during it. And this dude flying a Chinook sideways as a ship is going 20 knots, and like basically it was one of those like tanker ships.
Yeah.
So like the middle's cleared out. So he like parked it sideways in the middle of the ship as we fast roped down, missing all the high wires and everything else, with the crew telling him at night on nods. He's on nods, and so he's just flying it sideways while the ship is going 20 knots, drops us off, and then pulls off. And I'm like, that's fucking nuts. Like, I could not imagine. And then we would do stuff like other pilots, and they're great, awesome pilots too. Like, just the amount of training. It's just like anything else. Like you've got normal infantry, and then you take special operations guys, and you're like, you can see the difference. And that's just because for 18 straight months, all we do is train, and then we get to actually go out and do it for 6 months, 7 months, or 8 months.
He made the comment, and I thought of you when he made it, because you're going through the police academy, but he people keep asking him why he didn't decide to go be a pilot for like Cleveland Clinic or something like that. And he goes, after what I did, he goes, I don't want to sound arrogant, but
nothing's gonna hold us.
That's what he said. He goes, I don't have any interest in it, man. He goes, those guys are awesome. They're great pilots. He goes, but I'm gonna be bored doing that.
Yep.
And I thought of you. I said, what is this gonna be boring for you?
I don't think so. It's a.
Because you're in the police academy right now.
Yeah. So we start finishing up here. We're on the final stretch, which thank God. I need.
Well, if it's anything like the corrections academy, it's just boring as fuck.
It's as dry as you can get. I mean, it's needed. It's just like any. I had to go to boot camp before I go to Buds. Yeah. I can't just skip boot camp to go be a SEAL. So it's that. It's a police academy. We have 18 people now. I've been the class captain for the duration of the whole time, which has been good. Just more so not because I won it. I didn't want it. I didn't even put my name in the hat for it.
Yeah.
I had I wanted nothing to do with it. And they just second day were like, you're doing it. And I'm like, I just wanted to be a gray man and just hide out and not do anything. And they were like, nope, you're doing it. And so, but it was good because I've been able to reduce the amount of BS that comes through, or like people, fear mongering, because we got that in Buds all the time, like people fear mongering, well, should we do this, or well, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna get beat, and da da da.
Yeah.
Like, guys, if we get beat in the police academy, we're doing 10 push-ups
Yeah,
in
right.
5 minutes.
Is this
like,
really that bad?
Like, come on, like, this is relax.
Yeah.
And so a lot of cutting down on that, which is nice. It's a good class. There's good people in there. The instructors are good. I go to the one in Tri-C in Parma, and
these are guys that are going to be police officers all over different places.
Yeah, so it's all of us were open enrollment, so no one was appointed there by a police department, so no one had a job coming into it.
I don't even think they do that anymore, do they?
They do it. It's just a matter of, I think it's less and less and far and few in between.
Yeah.
Because it's a money game.
Yeah.
It's a business.
Why should we pay for it?
Why are we going to pay for it? Like, you show the initiative, you go and start it, and then we'll pick you up towards the end of it. So it's good in that sense. I'm excited. I've done, it's a little bit of a phenomenon, I think I could say, with it. So like I could go, I go to class every day, and like I was talking to some, because I've been doing a lot of work with a SWAT team out here locally, because a couple of my best friends one of my best friend is on that SWAT team, and a couple of my really other good friends are on it as well. So I've been doing a lot of like work with them, a lot of in-service trainings and things like that. Went to OTOA's basic SWAT school. In April, I'll go to OTOA's sniper school, and so I'll be not even out of probation then wherever I get.
Right,
so I'll be SWAT qualified and sniper qualified, I guess, and not out of probation.
Yeah.
And then like there was a guy, he was asking me about it as I was talking to some guys, because they were up at Tri-C just doing like advanced search and seizure class or something along those lines. Talking to him, and that guy was like, were you a cop somewhere else? Like, no. And he's like trying to figure out what the deal was. And it was more so funny, I think, to my friends, because I don't say it, and I'm not like, hey, I was a Navy SEAL, did this and that, and da da da. So he's like, so how are you doing all of this? I'm like, I know a guy.
I know a guy.
So
yeah,
like,
I got a buddy.
Yeah, so it's been good though. I'm excited for it to be over and have, the hiring process to at least start.
Actually start doing some work. Yeah, Corrections Academy was brutal for me. It was just, I remember the hardest part for me was trying to stay awake. So I'd have to stand up in the back of the room, because they always said if you're going to fall asleep, stand up. And so I just go in the back and stand up. And
I mean, it's just like any like boot camp academy, I guess. Like, we can only have water. You have to, do this, do that, clean shave haircuts. I've skipped out on the shaving thing as everyone, I'm sure. That was a hard battle. That was a week-long battle royale with that to be with, and I'm like, I have numerous doctor notes. Like, here you go. And they're like, well, I don't know. I'm like, dude, I'm not happening.
I have to do it.
Not happening.
It's a medical beard. The funniest thing is when you were in here, and I think the goofiest thing is to introduce people as, oh, this is my buddy Ryan. He's a SEAL. It's
like how
I know.
It's just how it.
But it was funny. You came in that first day, and we were just talking, and little fucking Katie Reith, 65 years old, just walks up to you, go, "Are you a Navy SEAL? Like, how the fuck did she get that? Like, I'm like, way to keep your undercover status."
I was dying. I was like, oh yeah.
What the fuck? I don't know how she did that, but
it was funny.
Yeah, it was good. What do you think about the guys? There's so many guys out there now writing books, podcasts, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, I feel like the podcast game is filling up with it.
It is,
I'm about to get a microphone and just start.
There's no reason why you shouldn't, man. Talk about what you love.
No, it's not for me. I've done your podcast now. This will be the second time. I like doing that. I like you said the one time, it's a source of, communicating and having like that face-to-face real interaction without quite that. So it's cool in that sense. If that's like what they want to get with, and that's like what they decide they want to do, it's cool. I don't have any issues with that. It's
well, the no easy no easy day guy.
Yeah.
He kind of
Well, yeah,
let the
he's
flood. He's kind of a polarizing figure, right?
yeah, he wrote. I mean, it's a great. I've read the book.
Yeah.
It's a good book. I think, you know, America wants to hear about it. I
Yeah.
guess it's. I mean, now all he does is go and talk on
Speaking
tours,
engagements,
and
yeah.
all that. So I get it. I wasn't in that position. I guess I can say I wasn't on that rate. I wasn't on that op. So, how I feel on it is probably different. There's guys that I know that were, and they're like, why? Like,
Right.
it could just be. I mean, the president announced it, and so it's kind of just like, I would have imagined you leave it at that, or maybe a book about it, and
I was surprised that the president announced it.
yeah, I mean yeah, exactly. So, but that's how it is now. Everything, like, look at the oh man, Baghdadi raid.
Oh, yeah.
Raid. So that wasn't announced right away, but then it was, hey, it was.
What was that, Delta?
Yeah,
Yeah.
CAG did it, yeah. And so then the dog thing, the dog was memes for like long.
Those were some funny ass.
So,
when did we get a dog, honey?
Yeah.
What the fuck? That was so funny.
And I think it's good for. I think it's good for the American public to see it. It's just.
Well, it's a good recruiting tool.
Right, it is, and it's. I'm indifferent on it. I guess I think there's positives and the negatives to it, and I think that's with everything now.
Yeah.
It's cool to hear. I think it's nice in a sense, because then my family or friends, they listen to stuff like that and then just ask me about it, and they don't like go into like, well, what I don't talk about much of it.
Yeah.
Period.
Well, like and I wouldn't ask you on the air, but I asked you a question about something I had heard on a podcast about a seal recently, and you had insight into it, but
yeah.
It's good to get that insight from people who are, because I'm listening to the podcast going, well, this guy sounds reasonable, but I'm not getting the side from everybody else
Right.
who
And just like everything, there's two sides to every story. I think, and in that case, there's no like, this guy's 100% right, or this person's 100% wrong, or vice versa. There's always a little bit of give and take with everything, and it's. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be negatives and positives to each side of it. I think what it did do was bring SEALs into the spotlight a little bit more.
Right.
So with that in turn, I think that brings the spotlight more on us from the big Navy, and I think that's kind of more so what has kind of acquired in the last 2 years with SEALs being in the media. And big cases in the media, big issues in the media with everything from, drug use to war crimes to all this other stuff. So I think that spotlight, it just, it broadens it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, my opinion on it is, when have you heard, like, the SF, like, Green Berets have, 6 times more people than SEALs do, I would say, something along those lines. They have a lot of Green Berets. CAD guys are kind of, along the same lines. They are along the same lines as like Dam Neck and SEAL Team 6 and all that, and you don't hear about them either.
Yeah.
And I think that's more so just because they haven't brought a spotlight on them, so the spotlight kind of just stays shifted off of them.
Yeah.
And they haven't brought the big spotlight into the Army. So if things do happen, the American public doesn't know about it, because they take care of it in house. The Army takes care of it. The big Army takes care of it in house, and you hear nothing about it.
And legitimately, that's really the way it should be handled.
Absolutely, I think 100%.
Let people do their jobs,
and I'm out now, so I can say it, like, absolutely 100%.
Yeah.
You keep it in house. It's the the wars are dying down. So I think the culture of like eating their own, and just guys, like good guys who are hard fighting, war fighters, are getting out because they're like, like, I'm going to be in a leadership position, but there's nothing going on. So, like, see you later, I'm out. And then that leaves it for other people who were not quite that to come in and take that leadership position and be there. And there's some great, and that's that, 1% issue. That it's just, you have that 1% of people that are just, they're looking to do it. The whole and the majority of the teams are awesome.
Well, I'm sure you have a bell curve just like any other profession, where even though you've made it through Buds, you've made it through SQT and all this shit, you're still gonna have your super high performers and the 80% of the guys in the middle that are all awesome but aren't on that super high performance level. Then you're going to have some scumbags better that are still better than the majority behind them, but they're the worst of the best.
Absolutely. And everyone's always like, people will bring it to you like, oh, you probably don't have this nonsense in the SEAL teams or had it. Like, no, we have everything.
Absolutely.
Under the sun that every business has, there's always interdepartmental politics or inter platoon politics. There's, you mesh with certain people, and the SEAL teams. I mean, it's everybody under the sun. It's not just one make and model of a person. I mean, there's little guys, big guys, fat guys, black guys, white guys, Asian guys. Like it's everybody you can imagine.
Yeah.
And there's just one thing that is solely in common with us all, and that's our will to succeed and the mentality that you have of not to quit and keep pushing forward. And you have that mental whereabout and the physical whereabouts to perform the job and perform the job at a high level, because you have test gates through Buds and SQT. I mean, there's guys in my SQT class that got dropped for CQC and land warfare and things like that, because I mean, they were able to make it through Buds, but they weren't able to actually do the job and be a thinking shooter enough, or to be able to put it all together to do it. So
because that's basically after Buds is when you start learning your job.
Absolutely.
What is it like for, you said there's fat guys in there, and I guess that's a relative term, but
it's a relative
how much
term.
shit do you take if you're a fat guy on a SEAL team?
You would take heavies
for
sure. I mean, to the point of where you'll start getting like counseling paperwork and things like that.
Oh, it goes that far.
If you let yourself go and you can't, like, you're looking at paperwork to get cycled out, and you're gonna find another job in the Navy.
See, so I like that though, man. I like that.
Keeps the standard alive. I mean, you can't have that. You can't have that liability. There's
no
way. There's no way it's at that. I mean, shit. If you're a big dude. Like I was pushing my last platoon. I was like 250. Like that's slick. So. Like,
but you're super tall too.
Yeah. So like everything on, I'm like probably sitting at like 310, 320.
Yeah.
And it was, like I still had to keep up with the little dudes in land warfare, and like I have a lot more weight I'm throwing around and carrying probably, but it's not hard to do. You just have to. You have to do it. Like my thing was the 48, so I loved being the machine gun guy.
Yeah.
Like that was like any type of like long patrol or like land warfare type scenario. I wanted the 48. There's no way I wasn't going to. But anything like
it just looks so much cooler to begin with.
The thing is it's just a miserable thing to carry.
I bet.
Once you when you're like we did a training op the one time. Where was it? I don't remember. Or it was out in Chaffee, Arkansas. That's what it was. And it was like a down pilot, like recovery. So we're like going from the last known locations and just daylight patrol into night, and then like try to recover them at night or whatever. And I remember them being like, "Oh, you need to carry." So I had I think like 1,200 rounds of 7.62. So I had like 500 on my person, and then 100 in my gun, or a little bit more than 100 because I kind of plus it up. And then I had like a backpack full of something too. And I remember it was just forever. I was like, this is a long, drawn out. And then finally when we got into contact, I'm just like, give it all to me.
I'm getting light. Yeah. That's you always have the big guys holding the big machine guns, and that always looks so much more impressive, but awesome, as far as the books and everything, I read everything, whether it's ancient Greeks all the way up, but I've read all the SEAL books that are out, and the Delta ones and everything. It's interesting to me. I love military history, and there's some good books. You read something like I'm trying to think which ones. Well, even like Jocko's book, Extreme Ownership, was very good.
Right. And that's like a good business book too. Like
it's very good.
Take it to like a business meeting, and you're like, "Hey, read this."
And most of it was, this is how I fucked up in Ramadi, and this is how we changed things because of it. It wasn't like, oh, I was swinging from a rooftop.
Right. Yeah.
I just read Rogue Warrior, which I'm not sure how much is a comic book and how much was
I don't know if I've read that one.
Marcinko's book, who did SEAL Team 6.
I think I started it, and I don't think I ever finished it. I read a book before getting out that, books aside, I thought was a phenomenal book, just because it helped. Yeah, I mean, it helped me out tremendously in transitioning out and getting out and like kind of setting your mindset for it. But it was it's Excommunicated Warrior by Marine Raider.
I know him.
Nick Kaz. I can't say his last name, so I'm not gonna butcher it. But it was a good book, and I was like, you're just reading it, and you're like, check, check. And,
Yeah.
But hearing it from somebody else saying it, then you're able to relate to it, and you're able to get into that mindset of like in your it's like a self-diagnosis. You're like, oh, okay, this is kind of what's going on. Now I understand it, and you're not terrified of it, and you're not like, what is going on with me? What's
I met Nick in Iceland in 2016, I think was when we were there. But it's on the podcast there's some great I think Jocko has a great podcast. Andy Stump has a great podcast. And then there's some that I've tried to listen to that are just unlistenable. Because, and again, we're talking about a bell curve here.
Yep.
Stu Smith does a good one. He talks about training young kids going into buds. And so it's him and Jeff, I can't remember Jeff's last name. But he was a DevGru guy. And they just talk, it's geared towards young kids training to go to buds.
Yeah.
It's just really interesting because I'm guessing there's so much nonsense out there. I went and talked to.
It's a good point, actually. Yeah, I'm sure. Like there isn't much I could find when I went.
Check out Stu Smith's. His is real good. And I've bought a couple of his books too on the same subject. But these guys just talk about this is what you're going to need to do. Stop listening to this nonsense.
Yep.
Do this every day. Yada yada yada. But that's a real good one, and
yeah, I haven't heard that one yet. I'm gonna listen to that.
Yeah, I'll shoot you a copy of the link.
Like before I get out, I mean, I did that NSW mentorship ordeal where you're like the kids who are wanting to go do any SWIC or Spec War program, CO, EOD, SWIC, diver, air rescue. That's what they were. They were doing, workouts inside, put them through a workout and kind of beat them down and then kind of tell them like what to expect in that mentality. But there's definitely got to be, I mean, because every one of those kids didn't have that insight, and unless you have that inside perspective on it, you're not gonna get it from anyone else. No one's gonna be able to be like, yeah, this or that. Once you've got that inside perspective, or if you've heard it firsthand, then it's definitely more of a.
Well, we went and talked to I went and talked to the National Guard in Cleveland on request of their commanders out there, and they were just worried because a lot of these kids weren't getting in shape, and we talked. They came out here and talked to me, and they're like, we put them through these workouts, but we're not sure what they're doing once they leave, and it's only like once a month. Yep. So I came out and talked to them, and
you're not going to get that in once a month.
Well, so that's the first thing I said to him is that if this training you're going through may not be the hardest thing you're going to go through in your life, but you want to be, you can't just look at the minimum standards and go, oh, I'm good. Right. You want to be able to just demolish those. So you have this,
absolutely,
all this extra in the tank. And the basic thing was though, is these kids were inundated with so much information, if you can call it that they had no idea what they were supposed to be doing. Yeah, so they're talking about Larry Wheels and all this, like, you should not be following Larry Wheels. He's deadlifting 900 pounds. It's nothing close to what you're going to be doing at boot camp. So I put him through a 15-minute workout and crushed him. Just 15 minutes of push-ups, air squats, and burpees. And it brutalized him.
Oh, yeah.
And afterwards, I said, look, I'm going to open this up to Q&A, and this always goes poorly. So I'm not expecting much, but if you guys have questions, I'll answer them.
Yep.
No one had put their hands up at first. One guy put his hands up, and he said, how much did you deadlift when you were super strong throwing? And I told him, and then it was all of a sudden, hands started coming up. It was like, oh, okay, this guy must know what he's talking about. So, but yeah, after that, it was just a mountain of bullshit that they'd heard on Instagram
Yeah,
that I had to
absolutely.
sift through. And
100%. It's almost like there's so much information that they're just looking at 60 different people and
Yep.
pages and fitness model page and what I should do
Yeah.
or this like the where they post like the 15-minute workout on the Instagram, like do this and you'll get a six-pack or
Yeah.
whatever the hell it is. It's nonsense.
My favorite is the girls on Instagram who just blatantly show off a picture of their ass, which is fine, but then don't put the inspirational quote in the message. Just, here's my ass, like my
Check
picture.
this out, like it, and follow me so you can see more of these.
I don't need the inspirational quote, or even worse, the quote from the Bible,
Right,
with the ass picture. It's so ridiculous and blatant.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, it drives me nuts.
I've been I haven't reached out to them. I haven't done anything, but it's like called like SOCOM Athlete.
I follow
Instagram,
them. Yep.
And they seem like they do a pretty decent. Like they definitely have like PJs, and I think they've had a few SEAL guys,
Yep.
EOD, SF guys.
I save a bunch of their workouts on my phone just because. Oh, that's good. I'll put that in the programming at some point.
They travel all over. Is it? I don't even know if it's an actual. Is it a company or is it just like a?
I tried to go there because I wanted to get one of them on the podcast, but there was no like. Typical special forces, there's no like address, no contact information, nothing like that.
Nope. Yeah, so they seem like they do a decent job of it, or at least that workout. I mean, it's just.
Well, there's a difference too between if I was training someone to get them ready to go to Buds, and then I was training someone who is out of Buds and getting in the teams. Those trainings would be vastly different. They wouldn't be they wouldn't look anything like each other.
No, not even close, I don't think.
And that's what drives me nuts because you look at, I shit you not, and you're going to laugh at this. There was a guy in the area, I don't know if he was in the military at all, but he was doing these workouts with people, and I shit you not, he had his people that are paying him probably $150, $175 a month, laying on the ground with the feet off the ground, with traffic cones in their mouth, and he's walking by him spraying them with a hose. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? He's doing all these like Navy SEAL Buds, ruck marches, and and then waterboarding his people, and they're in Lake Erie, and they're linked arms and the surf, and I'm just like, what are you fucking doing, dude?
Oh man.
If I had just paid $175 and you're waterboarding me, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here.
I do that to all the kids in my.
But they're getting ready to go.
They're getting ready to go to it. So I'm like, this is what you're.
You're not doing it to a 40-year-old mother of three.
No, that's completely
insane.
Yeah, and who's paying that? Who's paying to do that?
Fucking crazy people who think that just like these kids,
it's not gonna get you in shape. It's not gonna even get you in the mentality of it.
Gym. He must know what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Good for him for whatever he
for being a fucking maniac. I can't even imagine with my people in here. And the thing of it is the people in your gym kind of take on your personality, and there is such a no nonsense filter for these people. Right. If I said, meet me at the beach next week, and if I put them through that, I would get a fucking mutiny. There's no way anyone would.
Anarchy.
Yeah. Can we just go squat?
It's they're two. I think they're two different approaches to it. And if guys that want to get ready, they have that mindset. Like there'll be guys that I want to go do this, and you look at them and you're like, okay, like let's see where, because your mentality and your mindset, it can change, but that is going to be my first tell on who you are as a person and how you're going to survive, if you're going to survive. And so I think that's like the biggest thing. And like guys will just, it's always like the quick fix everything. Like what's the drink I drink that's gonna make me invincible and whatever it is.
I got a ton of those questions from the guys at the National Guard.
And it's like it's just a mindset though. Like they have to start it first. They have to get to that mindset to where this is what they want, and they're not just gonna be mediocre and just be like, I'm just gonna get by the standards and that's it. And it's like what we see in the police academy right now too, like guys getting ready to like our final fitness exam, which is a joke.
Yeah,
like I was never one of the best push-ups, sit-ups, runners in the teams, but I mean, if you can't do 40 push-ups in a minute, 40 sit-ups in a minute, and run a mile and a half in 12 minutes, I mean, I could see the thing that would get me is if they're like, all right, 2 miles in 12 minutes, and I'm like, oh God, all right, I've got to train for it. I've got to train for it. That's gonna be hard. And it's cool that they do the mile and a half, because a mile and a half is always like a mile is you can sprint. Yeah, you can sprint a mile. That extra half mile is that are you gonna gut it out a little bit to see, and then you switch that into buds and where you're doing 4 mile timed runs on the beach.
I told you I tried to do 4 miles in what was it, 31 minutes or something, and I failed miserably.
But it's like a process to build up to it, and I feel like that's what they don't quite understand or get, or like and you've got to do it on your own, like that month long, or like the PT sessions we do in the academy. Like you're not gonna get in shape doing that. Like you've got to take time out of your own day to do something to better yourself physically, and in turn it's going to better you mentally.
I went and got this tactical cert because I really want to work with military, police, and fire. And coming from a corrections background, I can't imagine having done that job without being in shape. And I wasn't in shape where I could run, but I was strong as fuck.
Yep.
But
well, you're not really running around too much.
No. And you had back up there in 30 seconds.
Yeah, you want to be the big dude that just isn't moving and you're throwing guys off. Yeah, yep.
But I look at people going into the police academy and guys that are still on the road at 40 years old, and I think to myself, I don't know if I could go out on the road and be in that bad a physical shape and feel confident in anything. And I think it's one of the reasons why motherfuckers are getting shot is because these guys are scared to death to get into an altercation, so the gun comes out, you know? And
yeah, absolutely. They don't trust their training anymore. It's nope. No
I remember when pepper spray first started. I was working in a juvenile detention center towards the end of my career, and they brought out pepper spray. Well, I had worked probably 16 years without pepper spray. Someone got out of hand, you just grabbed them. All of a sudden, pepper spray comes in, and they're like, well, why didn't you pepper spray him? I go, I didn't even fucking think about it. It was on my hip. I didn't even know.
I don't necessarily need it.
Yeah.
I can handle it.
And then they wanted you to pepper foam people, and I am super susceptible because I've had broken noses.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, it's an aerial weapon in a sense.
Yes.
I mean, you're gonna smoke out every 5 people, and then you go to grab that dude, and you're gonna smoke yourself out. Yep. No way.
I would tell guys, if you want my help, don't spray that shit. Just let's go get them. You know.
But I mean, it's the old mantra, like you don't have the skills to do it, or you don't have the confidence to do it, so you're gonna fall back on your tools. And then what happens when your tools fail?
Yeah.
And like for police officers, like what happens when your taser fails? Now you're either getting hands on, or you're in such a susceptible position now you have to go to deadly force, and it's a questionable shooting.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, now what?
I've seen some of these videos
is just so god awful. Like it's just I don't even. They're just, if you do anything as a police officer anymore that's use of force in that realm, you better be justified and in the right.
And you're making that in a split second, that decision.
And that's what I was telling, like my wife talked about it, I talk about it with my best friend who's a cop now too. It comes down to, like, for the SEAL teams we went 18 months of just pure training to get ready for our workup, and then we would go do our 8-month deployment, and then we'd come back and do another 18 months. So it was a very heavy, like 80 training to 20% actual real world. And for law enforcement, it's like 98% real world and 2% training. And if you don't have the right department and the right guys to kind of like help and mesh it without like in-service training and to kind of save time and just kind of give an insight to, hey, maybe think about this, and or different training routines where you're doing actual scenarios. And
well, I came up with an idea a while back, and I ran it by Paul, that the 3 of us should get together and do some kind of training program where they come here and we show them how to get in shape with these 10
Right.
exercises that you can do in
Right.
your house, and
Right.
then Paul does the real world self-defense stuff, and you do the shooting and tactics stuff. But the problem is getting police departments to say
Right.
that's very useful, which all that shit is super useful.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Especially now with, like you said, that 10 exercises, because everyone will be like, oh, I have a family, I don't have time to get in shape, or I don't have, and with police, I mean, it's even worse because you're driving around just sitting in the car for most of the day, and then all of a sudden something's on, and you're out of the car and sprinting after someone. Or
you go from a dead stop to a sprint.
And you have to be, and then, and that, something like that happens, or it's the first time it's happened to you in a year, or first time ever, and you're in tunnel vision, front sight focus mode, and then you do something dumb, and it's like, oh geez, and you don't want to see that. I don't want to see that for the community, and I don't want to see that for the police officer who does that, and then what's his life now.
And and physical altercations are so deceiving. I mean, you'd gone through all the training, and I'd gone through training. When we got into jiu-jitsu with Paul, it's a whole different world. That first time you're on your back and he's on top of you, and you're like, what the fuck? And I can't breathe, and he's putting the pressure on you. This is a 52-year-old man who's beating the fuck out of you, and it's just like,
and you put him on PCP, or like a big dude on PCP. Even me, I'm like, all right, boy. But I mean, I'm confident in what I know I can do, and like my my threshold or my abilities, and with Paul with the jiu-jitsu background, like that's gonna be in everyday life. Like now with the optics of everything, like you're not gonna be sitting there striking the guy on the ground.
Right.
You pull out a baton. Like I pull out a baton and start hitting a dude that's 120 pounds, but he's on PCP and he's not complying. I can only imagine that.
That's paperwork forever.
Oh yeah, that's 250-pound X. I mean, because that's one thing I got to worry about. Like
you're always going to be XCL.
I'm going to be, you YouTube me on, put my name in YouTube. You see 60 different hockey fight videos. So
I wish I would have known that. I would have checked them out.
Oh yeah, and it's like that I've immediately got that. So I mean, it's even more of a
I really think that they should. I think the idea I had for the three of us to get together and do something like that is, as a matter of fact, I have a conversation coming with a police chief in the area, so I may actually bring it up to him. But I think that departments need to. I think these guys should be grappling at least once a week.
Right.
You don't have to be a purple belt or something, but you should be grappling. We used to do fat days. I was on what was called the ERU team when I was in the when I was doing corrections, and it was emergency response unit. So you dress up like Spartans and do cell extractions and shit. But every Monday they had a fat day, so they would bring in extra guys to work, and we would just grapple. That's all we would do is grapple. And we had one of Paul's buddies, Chris Carrion, was our instructor, and it was all how to choke guys out. We would have guys wear the the smocks at the inmates, and how to choke them out with their smocks. And it just has to. If you want less police involved shootings, I think you need better physical training, both exercise and grappling.
And I think you have to have that now, because the perspective of everything is now the dynamic is shifting. So when you have use of force now, like people now will push you into use of force ordeals, so then that way they can hopefully get a payout from the city
and their buddies filming while they're doing 100%.
And we've created that as a country, though.
The
100%. Supreme Court has created that as that's what it is now. Like you are under the microscope. You, as a law enforcement officer, I almost say you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent, or you're proven innocent. So I mean,
and you think about all the altercations or interactions, I should say, that police officers have with humans on a daily basis. Millions of interactions. And you get
every day
one questionable use of force, or you have a screw up shooting, and it looks like, because the media blasts it looks like this is an epidemic, and when in fact, when you look at the amount of interactions you have as opposed to those minute, and I understand if you're the parent of this kid who got shot, I get it.
Yes, absolutely, I do.
But
But what got you there in the first place, though? Like, what was the totality of circumstances leading up to this?
Very,
But we don't look at that anymore.
Right.
Like, we don't look at what led up to it. We look at what happened during the time of it, what was the incident, and what did the officer do.
Did you ever get brought home by the cops when you were a kid?
No, I don't think so.
What would your father have done if you...
No, I did. Yeah. I 100% did. And my mom lost it.
Lost her shit.
So we were playing military back in the day. So we had, and this was right after 9/11. Like, it had to have been probably a couple months after 9/11.
Yeah.
So we're playing outside, and we're playing with, like, back in the day, you know, they had like the click guns. It was like, and it was like the M16 ones.
I remember those.
Still had like I think we took the orange tips off of them so they would look more realistic.
Right.
So me and my friend are in Cammy and playing in the woods, and this is in Marquette, Michigan, which is a small town.
Yeah.
Like, there's not like if there's a terrorist attack, it's not going to be in Marquette, Michigan.
Yeah, right. They're not targeting.
But someone called the police. Like, there's people running around in the woods with camouflage on, and I think I had paint in my face.
Right.
And
you were into it. That's what we did as kids.
And so we're playing, running around the woods. And next thing you know, you hear like 30 sirens. We're like, oh, what's going on? So we're kind of like looking out of the woods, like, what's going on? And you see the cop car turn down our road. We're like, what are they doing? Like, I wonder if they're going to the college. And then they turn like facing the woods. We're like,
you're waving at them.
They're like, get down. And I'm like,
holy
are they yelling at us? And my buddy is sitting there pointing the fake gun at him, and is like,
oh,
it's a fake gun, and they're like, I guess we scared this policeman to death, and he brought us home, and explained it to his mom, and explained it to my mom, and my mom was furious.
Yeah.
The wrath had come down.
Do kids even play like that anymore?
I don't know. I don't think so.
My kid never really played war growing up.
I mean, that was
did
all the time. It was an every day after school event.
Yep.
130%.
Cowboys and Indians.
Oh, yeah.
Or you know, we were in the...
Now they play war. Now it's called Call of Duty. They get on the Xbox and they play war every day.
We were in the woods making punji sticks and all this
forts
shit.
And stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think kids do. I think you're right. I think they play Call of Duty instead, which is a lot more realistic but a lot less fun. I'm guessing, but yeah, the amount of training I think just needs to go up sky high, and
absolutely.
And I think a lot of the problems will go away, or at least. But until the media keeps ramping it up, who knows? Every time there's an incident, there's going to be a big media fiasco around it, and
100%.
Time to go.
Yeah.
All right, brother. We'll get you home to your new baby. Good luck in the police academy.
Thank you.
We will do this again.
Let's do another touch up. Another session when I get done.
When you get done, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
Hopefully I get hired somewhere. Probably not though, but we'll see.
We'll get you in somewhere. I got some connections. All right. This has been the Refined Savage. See ya. Hey folks, real quick before I let you go this week, Chad Clark notified me of Relentless Nashville happening on May 16th, 2020. It is going to be a charity strongman competition. Really good cause, helping out some kids that are in need. If you want more information, you can get a hold of Chad or check out musiccitystrongman@gmail.com and give them a holler. It is a good cause. These are great people. Help these kids out. All right, guys. See you next week.